What's going on, y'all, and welcome to the first episode of One of One in 2022. This is Trice, and today we're going to be talking about one of the hottest topics in the world of basketball right now, and that is Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, prior to the season, Ja Morant was getting a little bit of disrespect. He was even left off ESPN's top 10 players under 25 before the season started. But ever since the opening tip of the 2021-22 NBA season, Ja Morant has been on an absolute tear. Through the first 30 games of the season, Morant's averaging 25 points per game, 6.7 assists, and 5.7 rebounds, shooting 49% from the field and 38% from three. On the back of Ja Morant's big play, the Grizzlies have won 10 straight, including just knocking off the #1 Warriors a couple nights ago, and are currently third in the West, only 3.5 games back from the first place spot. Now, I say he's one of the hottest topics in basketball right now because he is by far the most popular player on social media so far this season. You look on social media and you see night in and night out after each of his games some kind of highlight from the game, whether it was the two-handed block off the glass the other night against the Lakers, whether it's a dunk attempt, where he misses a dunk and it could have been like a big poster. But with the Grizzlies winning so many games against good teams lately, it's really putting Morant on a platform that I think is really starting to take his brand off. Early in the season, we saw Nike put a commercial together for him. Like, he's right on that platform of ready to just take off to superstardom. And I think a lot of that has come just through these 30 games this season. Obviously, Morant had gotten some hype over the last couple seasons, but this is the first year we've really seen him put himself in that new category of one of the top point guards in the league. All that being said, this breakout season Morant is having has some strong similarities to another young point guard who rose to stardom in his third season, and that is Derrick Rose, who in his third year became the youngest MVP in NBA history at the age of 22, the same age Morant is this season. In that MVP season, Derrick Rose averaged 25 points per game, 7.7 assists, and 4.1 rebounds on his way to leading Chicago to a 62-win season, #1 in the East. Now, I think the biggest difference between the two seasons before I get into similarities is that Chicago is just simply a much bigger market than Memphis. So as Chicago was winning games, Rose rose to popularity pretty quickly just because of how much they were in the national spotlight. Thanks to social media, Morant is able to have a similar spotlight just because of the way his highlights travel and the way it's picking up popularity with people. But I think that is one of the biggest factors in why Rose got so much MVP hype, and Morant is starting to get a little bit of MVP hype. I saw after this most recent game against the Warriors, he's actually the fifth favorite in the MVP race right now according to Vegas. So he's starting to get some recognition as like that top player, but Rose kind of had that momentum all season long. Now, getting into some similarities, the #1 obvious thing is their play style. Both of them at this point in their career are just insane athletes. Rose, of course, was lightning fast to get to the rim, could get by his defender and finish inside with crazy acrobatic layups, had the bounce to rise up and dunk on somebody if he needed to. Morant is very similar, just maybe in a more lanky frame. The way he's able to blow by defenders is really crazy. Like, I would say there's probably only one or two guys in the league that can really stay in front of him just because his first step is so elite. Then you take that and you mix it in with the insane bounce that we've been seeing ever since he was at Murray State. Able to rise up above defenders, able to try to dunk everything in his path. These are very similar skill sets to what Rose had and what made him such an exciting player. I do think Rose had a little bit better of a handle than Morant does, but I think Morant's a much better shooter right now than Rose was at this point of his career. So both of them have some things that separate themselves, but it's hard to ignore like the key components of their games being so similar. One thing I love about Ja Morant is he has that it factor. He's a very likable player that I think all facets of NBA fans and sports fans can appreciate. He's a down-to-earth guy. He's a grinded-out kind of guy. He's been working ever since he was young. He went to a small school. Like, he has a very underdog mentality, and now he plays for this team in Memphis that's always embodied the grit and grind, like dirty work type mentality. And now you have Morant coming in there, putting the team on his back. They've got a nice little core now with Jaren Jackson Jr. and him finally kind of finding that chemistry. So I think the fact that he's able to become so popular with fans, and he has that the explosive plays, and he's almost a must-watch TV kind of guy, because you never know what you're gonna see. I know as soon as I saw that two-handed block off the glass against the Lakers, I was going to League Pass trying to find that game as soon as possible, because I didn't want to miss another big highlight. And I think Morant has that factor in a lot of ways. I think the biggest question at this point is, where does Morant go from here this season? I do think MVP is a little bit of a stretch this year, depending on how the rest of his season goes. Obviously, if he keeps up this level and even steps it up a little bit more, and Memphis keeps winning games, secures that top spot in the West, then I think you seriously have to consider it. But for now, I think some realistic expectations is, one, Morant's definitely going to get his first All-Star appearance this year. I don't think that's a question. I think he's got a real shot at making either the second or first All-NBA team. Obviously, the first team's going to be a little bit harder to get, but I don't think it's completely out of the question. The big thing will be, where do the Grizzlies finish in the playoff race? How much of a factor was he in it? And can he stay healthy the rest of the season? I don't think anybody expected Morant to take his game to the level he has this season. I honestly think he's passed a few great point guards in the league to really secure that top 3-4 spot in the league at point guard. I really think the only people you can really put above him at this point, the way he's playing, is probably maybe you could put Trae Young, just because of how he performed in the playoffs last season. I'd love to see Morant get the opportunity to do the same thing this year, because that could easily propel him even higher in the point guard list. And then I think Chris Paul, just naturally off of him being the floor general he is, lands in that top spot. And obviously Steph Curry's still number one. So I think Morant has passed some guys. Obviously Lillard struggled this season. A couple other guys have struggled this season. Kyrie's taken half of the year off. So there's been a vacant spot, and Morant has more than taken it on. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. Where do you think Morant can finish this season as far as individually? Where do you think he'll finish? Do you think he'll make an All-NBA team? Do you think he has a chance at MVP? And then where do you think the Grizzlies are going to finish in the playoff race? I personally would like to see them land in that 3-4 seed, kind of where they are already. And I'd love to see them make a run in the playoffs. I can't wait to see Morant when the lights are brightest, because I know he's that kind of player. I know he loves those moments, and I'm excited to see him take off on the big stage. But I don't have any more for y'all today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out part 1 of my new docu-series, The Book of Kobe Bryant. Part 1 is about his rookie season, the Air Ball. It's out now. Part 2 is currently on the way, and then we'll get 3 and 4 out to you as soon as possible. I'm super excited to see y'all's reaction to this series. It's been a lot of fun making it and diving into the career and story of one of the legends of the game. But again, I don't want to take any more time of y'all's day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch y'all next time. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to drop a like, leave feedback in the comment section below, and subscribe for more. We got some exciting things coming up soon, and you don't want to miss out. So be sure to ring that notifications bell, and be on the lookout for full episodes of 101 on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as soon as they come available.